There's nothing for you out there. Let me express my extreme disappointment that you've now picked up a fourth case. Cannot tell you how disappointed I am. With us in October, terroristic threat. 2 weeks later, another terroristic threat. 2 months later, a reckless driving. And now you've picked up a felony evading in a motor vehicle. Can you tell me what happened in the latest case, please?
The evading, Your Honor?
Please.
Yes, Judge. So in the evading, it was on February 7th, 2025, and the officers observed a vehicle driving recklessly on Mason Road and initiated a traffic stop. The vehicle proceeded to drive at a faster rate of speed and changed lanes when unsafe through moderate traffic, endangering other drivers. The vehicle evaded for approximately half a mile and ultimately entered a parking lot and parked the vehicle behind a restaurant on Mason Road. And at that point, the black male wearing a bright orange shirt exited the vehicle to the driver's door and ran through a large tree bush and evaded on foot. And it looks like he continued to evade, and he was approached as he ran on foot, moving across all lanes of traffic, ultimately coming to a stop due to him slipping and falling. So after evading for half a mile, he just ran on foot, Your Honor.
Judge, I know that that's not our case down here. My assumption, this is a broad assumption, is that perhaps given Mr. Jenkins's recent run-ins with the law, maybe those cops are familiar with him in that area. I don't know, it didn't articulate how he drove recklessly for the initial stop, but I think Mr. Jenkins maybe has some, I think he expressed to me that he thinks he's being treated unfairly.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was doing this out of his own safety.
You now have a fourth open case. You know, sometimes we have to protect people from themselves because they are their own worst enemy. I think that you're a danger to the public. You refuse to comply with bond conditions. You have a reckless driving with us. You were ordered not to drive recklessly, and now you've picked up an evading in a motor vehicle. I don't know what to tell you, but Mr. Jenkins, I'm now going to revoke your bond on all the cases, and I'm going to set them high because you are a danger to my public. And I've told you over and over and over and over, if you endanger my public, there's only one thing I'm going to do. So now I'm going to set each of your bonds at 10,004. I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You will be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive, Mr. Jenkins. And I'm going to tell you that if I find, because I don't know if you're going to bond out, you know, your now bonds are going to set about $40,000. So if you do bond out, you're going to be signing an affidavit with me today, promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you drive, and I'm also going to put a weapon on here, if I find that you're in possession of a weapon, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also going to order you to have a curfew of 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
I'm still living in my home.
We have resources here. We have all kinds of things to give to people: cell phones, tablets, places to live, food to eat. All you have to do is ask, and we can give you things. But now you've repeatedly shown me that you're going to do whatever you want to do. To hell with any conditions that a judge puts on you. That's what you have effectively told me by picking up a fourth case, and a felony case at that. So what you tell me now goes in one ear, goes out the other ear. I just can't. The unfortunate part is that these felony cases take a very long time to resolve. And I guess we'll track it. It looks like the felony is set for March 20th. If you want the next day, I'm happy to do it.
Well, I
Whatever
have
you would like to do.
See what the chances are. I don't want to put them in custody. If there's some resolutions that we can work on. I think on one of them, the Nixon brother, the other one, we're waiting on some surveillance that may have come in already.
Okay.
So,
Well, take your time, whatever you want. But as it stands now, you're too dangerous for me, Mr. Jenkins. You scare me. So, all right, we'll have you come up short to us and we'll talk to you soon.
Judge, for the conditions, you said a GPS prior to 7 to 7 curfew, no driving, no firearms, weapons, ammunition.
No contact with any of the complaining witnesses on the terrorist threat cases, please.
Do you like that exclusion zone as well?
Yes. Oh, you're doing a plea? Oh, okay, great. Got it. Okay. I'm glad that we don't have to. Wonderful. Okay, so just let me know when you're ready and, oh, you ready now? Okay, Marlon King. Good job. I don't know if I like the result, but how old are you? Are you sure you want to do this? Because the problem is that, when you plead guilty, life is hard enough as it is. And when you continue to rack up convictions, all you're doing is you're hosing yourself. It's really hard to get a job. When you start getting all these convictions, you're just making it so much more difficult, man. I don't remember what he had in Louisiana, but I hope that's resolved. Okay. Just straighten up, fly right. If you're hanging out with bad people, don't. Because they're just going to bring you down. What you're doing now is you're pleading guilty to this offense. It's going to go on your record. It'll be there for the rest of your life. This is an enhanceable offense, meaning that if you ever run from the cops again, you will be charged with a felony offense. You're looking at years instead of days. Do you understand? So no deferred, anything like that?
Yes, Judge, the only offer is the jail offer.
Okay, so Mr. King, you're charged with evading arrest or detention. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. You guys have worked out an agreement where they're offering you 22 days in jail with credit for the 22 days that you've done. By pleading guilty to this offense, it's going on your record. It'll be there for the rest of your life. You can never take it off. So you give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on your behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal. So it's final today and forever. You want to do this? How do you plead to the offense, sir? I'm going to find you guilty. I will follow the agreement. I'm going to sentence you to it. Good luck to you, sir. And I'll roll the court costs. Okay. So tell me again, what's going on?
So I'm filing a dismissal. We don't have body cam or dash cam on anything. They got deleted somehow. I don't
I'm
understand.
going to dismiss your case today. Today's your very, very lucky day. It's 1 in a million. Don't drive.
Yes, sir, Your
Want to
Honor.
do things the right way, and good things will happen for you.
Yes,
I'm
sir, Your
telling
Honor.
you, lightning doesn't strike twice.
Oh, yes, sir. I understand.
Way to go, man. Come on up. And you are, is it Eris? Eris Armstrong. Ms. Armstrong, you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing, thank you so much, Deanna. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am.
Yes, Judge. On February 6, 2025, the officer observed a vehicle on Katy Freeway, failing to maintain a single lane and swerving into adjacent lanes. The officer paced the vehicle at 72 miles per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. And while pacing the officer, the vehicle continued to fail to maintain a single lane and fluctuate between speeds of 68 miles per hour and 74 miles per hour. A traffic stop was then initiated, and the officer made contact with the defendant, observing a strong odor of an alcoholic beverage. The defendant stated she dropped her phone, and that's why she was swerving. And she further stated that she was coming from a bar and admitted to consuming 2 shots of tequila. Standard field sobrieties were conducted. HGN 6 out of 6, walk and turn 3 out of 8, 1 leg stand 2 out of 4. The defendant was read the DIC and considered a breath. The results were 0.145 and 0.156.
And I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I'm ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're consuming alcohol or illegal drugs, I'm going to revoke your bond, put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand, ma'am? Can you run the license, see if she has a valid license?
He's eligible, Your Honor.
All right. As long as you have a valid license and liability insurance in your name, you may continue to drive. Just be careful. For now, I'm going to have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. Have you get with Felicia for bond conditions, and then we'll just have you wait. Okay, ma'am? Please. You are Ms. Self. Ma'am, you're charged of driving while your license is suspended. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Just don't say anything at this point. You have the right to remain silent. I don't want you to say something that hurt your case, okay?
Yes, Judge. On February 5th, 2025, the officer clocked the defendant traveling 45 miles per hour in a 30-mile-per-hour zone on Northgate Crossing Boulevard. The traffic stop was then initiated and the officer made contact with the defendant. The defendant handed the officer an expired Texas driver's license found to be not eligible, and the defendant admitted to not having financial responsibility or insurance for the vehicle due to past traffic fines not being paid. The defendant further stated she did not have coverage for the vehicle because she knew the driver's license was expired and that she owed fines.
And I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. So can you run it now? Make
Yes,
sure
Judge.
that it's suspended. Ms. Self, I'm ordering you not to drive. This is a condition of your bond. I don't care what your excuse is. You cannot justify getting into a car. I don't care if there's a medical emergency. If you don't have a license and you don't have insurance in your name, you are not allowed to drive. Do you understand? You will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months of jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. It's an offense in and of itself.
Expired or suspended.
That's something that you're going to have to find out. It is your responsibility to go to DPS and find out, hey, what do I need to do? I can give you the phone number, but it's your responsibility to call them and figure out what you need to do to get it back. This is the number to the driver's license division to DPS. When you call them, you must call them at 7 in the morning. Do not call at 8:01, 9:30, because you'll never get through the phone lines. You have to call right when the phone lines open up, which is at 7 in the morning. You'll get through and you need to ask them what you need to do. You need a lawyer for this case. Would you like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer?
Appointed.
Okay. I already have it on file, so we don't need to do it on. All right, I'm going to have you come up here, swear test that you're not going to drive. I'm going to get you to Victoria to sign a reset. I'll have you take a seat in the jury box while I find your lawyer. Okay? Please.
Teresa.